Hello. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm Sam Hunter. Hunter's Design Studio is the stuff that I do. It's patterns. I'm one of Amy's kids. I've got a book coming out next year. Yeah, yay. It's in the sausage factory. I don't know what it looks like right yet. So this is going to be an exciting thing. And I'm also the person that makes those really funky, snarky little buttons that I see a lot of you wearing. And I hope I'm not letting the cat out of the bag by saying that Maddie's got some of them in the swag bags that you're going to end up with. The button that you're going to get says, "We are so worth it," and that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. Okay? It's something that's very near and dear to me. I want us to be recognized for the value that we have and the value that we make. And this is something that I'm always talking about. I'm very passionate about it. And I'm actually going to try to get you guys all absolutely on board and help me out with this one. So here goes. So earlier on this year, I was noodling around on the internet, which is what you do when you've got a deadline, right? And I was following these really important links, and with one of those, here are 11 things you should be doing in your life, which of course those are wonderful because if you can check off at least half of them, you think I'm doing okay, I'm not a loser, I've got my shit together, this is good. So, and you know, it's up there with these lists of 50 places you ought to have visited by now. Half of them, I will admit, I cannot find on a map. And then there's that food list, the one that says that you have to have eaten Twinkies and chocolate-covered fire ants to have some kind of foodie cred. Who makes that up? Anyway, so this was actually a really important list, and it was written by a woman by the name of Tina Roth Eisenberg. Her brand is Swiss Miss. She is the brains behind an iPad app called To Do, which is spelled French, to do. And the first thing on her list was, and it was 11 rules for life and work, and the first one was, invest your life in what you love. And I read that and I went, good, I'm on it. Okay, I love fabric, I love fiber, I love teaching, I love quilting, I love designing, I love writing, I'm doing all of these things. Well, I got down to rule number 3, and it says, complaining is not an option. Make it better or let it go. And to give you a little bit of background here about Tina, this woman started a temporary tattoo company because she couldn't find cool temporary tats for her kids. So she made a company, and it's successful. That's how committed she is to don't complain, make it better, or let it go. So I kind of took that as a challenge about what the hell am I complaining about all the time, and actually the thing I complain about the most is we don't get paid our value. And I'm not going to let it go, so now I have to make it better, right? Okay, so here it is. Last year I saw on the internet someone struggling with, should I charge $85 or $100 for a handmade baby quilt? And it made me go to the computer and write a blog post, which became my formula for how do you price a handmade piece of art. And I'm just going to call it quilt because we're quilters, but it's going to work for any handmade. And while I'm at it, gentlemen, I'm going to say women, but I assume y'all are feminists, so you're included in this conversation, okay? I'm just not going to sit here and go he, she, and just play the PC card. Just know that I love you equally, all right? So I wrote this post. For me, it's a really simple algorithm. How much did the stuff cost? How complicated was it to make? And how many hours did it take? And I've got numbers for all of those things, and I can come up with a price. And I happen to know that most of the time that price is kind of not really bearable in our market at the moment. But that post went viral. It actually started out on Pinterest, then it went across Ravelry. I guess the meters are on board for this. And then it finally blew up on Facebook. And that was really exciting. I went through Etsy as well. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I followed up with another post that said, okay, why is this happening? What is up with this? And I think these are some of the reasons that we get lowballed. Obviously, the first one is women's work, right? It's always been devalued since the dawn of time, since rocks were soft. And as my friend Vicky is absolutely fond of saying, back when Jesus was a lieutenant, this is what was going on. Okay, somehow the dude that caught the pig gets more kudos than us that serves the pork chops. Yeah. Right? Somehow. And it's still going on. We still have to fight it. Anyway, the other thing is we've got this planned obsolescence. We're making these cheap goods. We've taught people that you can have Martha Matchy Matchy for $100 in a bag from a big box store, and that is bedding. That is this thing that we might have grown up with, they might not have grown up with. A lot of our younger people did not grow up with crafting moms, because these were the moms doing the first wave of feminism and getting out into the jobs, okay? So they don't know that what they're holding isn't as good as the things that we can make. We also, unfortunately, have a group of ladies who, God love them, can work for free. They are at a point in their lives where it's all worked out, they're retired, they had a great fellow behind them, they don't have to make the money, so they're willing to give that quilt up for free. And unfortunately, every time they do that, they damage every one of us that is trying to make a living at this. Everyone who says, well, I already had it in my stash, well, didn't you buy it? I mean, you can't all be thieves, right? I don't think so. And then there's the one that, well, but I made it from my scraps. Well, did they charge you less because they knew you were going to, like, lob half of that in your scrap bin? No, they didn't. This stuff has value. And then there's this other thing. A couple of you ladies have talked on it. Barry, you said that really hard thing about tooting your own horn. As women, we've been taught not to rock the boat. We've been taught to hide our light because it makes other people uncomfortable. Okay, we need to knock that shit off. Okay? Not only do we get uptight about stating our price, I have yet to meet a man that doesn't look at something and figure out how to monetize it. I have a friend who started making jewelry. She was like, oh, I could give this to so-and-so for a birthday present. The first thing her husband said is, where are you going to sell that? Okay? We need to be a little bit better about where am I going to sell that? Okay? In our desire, our uncomfortableness of what other women are up to, we can be a little catty about them. We can think, oh, she's a little bit big for her pantyhose. She's asking, what for that? Well, I could make it for less. Well, of course you can. You're not charging yourself for the labor, are you? And what about that cost of labor? The guy that fixes my car charges me $98 an hour. The guy that fixes the plumbing, I think it's over $40. The research that I've done say that all of these people, plumbers and electricians, okay, I know that these guys are in the service industry, but the tile layers, the carpenters, the people who are the equivalent of our artisans, our craftspeople, these guys are all not working for $20 an hour, okay? They are not. So, what do we do? What do we do? And the other thing is, can I just say this? We don't do butt cracks, so surely that's got to be worse than that. Hey, this is badass, people. Do I need to design a butt crack? Okay, well, hey, but you know what? Nobody runs away from that. So anyhow, on my original post, a gentleman commented, you know, quilters are pretty intelligent women. They just need to figure out how to make a more cost-effective quilt, and I don't think they want to do that. Okay, and I would argue that creating a faster, cheaper sweatshop is not the answer we're looking for. Okay? I think where this starts is education, and this is what I want you guys to help me out with, okay? I think that, I get it, we cannot sell the quilt for $4,000, but I think we can sell that quilt, well, okay, all right, there's functional art, there's fine art. The fine art stuff, a friend of mine who's good friends with Nancy Crow, she's apparently in negotiations for getting something into a museum for $300,000, okay? God bless her. I mean, seriously, this woman has really forged a path for all of us. And she continues to hold the torch for quilt as art and not as function. I'm talking about the mom who's trying to make a few bucks on Etsy in between whiles of doing all of the things that we mamas do, okay? I'm talking about that baby quilt that's going out on Etsy that she's embarrassed to charge $75 for, and she's not even making her labor. I want the price of that quilt to go up. I want us all to be able to claim that one, okay? So I think, and what I've done is on my website, I want you all to go there. I've created, number one, a badge that looks like my button that says we are so worth it. I've given you a URL to stick underneath it so you can stick it on your site and help me out with this. I've also created a couple of dummy invoices where there are line items that say it took this many hours, and it took this much material, and this is what all that costs, and then this is the discount that I'm giving you to get you to the price that we have agreed upon. But I want you to know, when you took it home for $75, just what kind of a deal you were getting. Because I think that that's the education that's going to move us up. And I think we all have to do this. I think not one of us can do it. I think we all must start trying. Okay? I don't advocate for the King's ransom. Well, I do. I want us all to have it. We're not going to get it this week. I'd like in my lifetime for us to get closer to it. Okay? I really do. The other thing is, and this is from a conversation I had with Rose today, she said, you know, if they can't afford my prices, they're really not my customer. Yeah. And I utterly agree with her. However, there are days when the grocery budget must be met, and unfortunately one must make a deal with that particular devil to get the groceries on the table. I would like us to stop making that deal whenever we possibly can, because truly they are not our customer, and surely we can find the person that is. Surely we can. As for education, you have to decide how you're going to deliver it. I'm going to keep up with this idea that in a document that goes with my quilt, even if it's a free one for charity, that I tell them what was in it, that I was absolutely what was in it. Again, look at the website, I've got stuff for you. As teachers, please let us teach our new generation of people that this handcraft is worthy, that it has value, and the skill that they are learning is making a value for other people. It is making the heirloom that is going to go down the family for them. Okay, it will do that, especially if we keep teaching what we know, and we've all come up through it. We all know what we're doing. We all have our different ways of doing it. Some of us have come from the traditional background. Some of us have come from the fly by the seat of my pants, and it all worked out, so I'm going to show somebody else how to do it. And it's all good, and I'm with Rose. I'm not drawing lines between us. I have gone through hand versus machine. I've gone through traditional versus fine art or art quilting, and I am not going to draw a line between them and the new, the traditional, contemporary, and the modern. There is no lines, ladies. We're all in this together. And gentlemen, if you please. So I think that as women, we do have the power to be our own worst enemies, but in that power, we have the ability to be our own best friends. Okay? And we are the speakers of that word. We can claim this together. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from Madeleine Albright, who I think is a better Iron Lady than Maggie Thatcher ever thought she could be. And I'm English. There is a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And I think we can help each other because we are so worth it.